Smriti, this is the Global Digest think tank group. Where are you right now and what is your background?
This is Sumiti Kataria, and I actually did my PhD in global environmental sciences. So it's basically to study the debate between global north and global south when it comes to the climate change. Because whenever you listen to climate change, you will always come across these um, debates that, who should bear the responsibility of what? Like when you talk about Kyoto Protocol, then they say that common but differentiated responsibility. So environment is something that impacts all of us. Climate change is happening. And of course, the marginalized section, as you mentioned, is at the margins of this whole debate. And that's where the debate of responsibility comes into play. So the idea is to ensure a kind of a structural framework that gives international community a sense of collective responsibility. That is my area where I come and I discuss about the marginalized community, particularly the women and the tribal in India, because they are the one living in the outskirts area. They are the one inhaling the poisonous gas and they are the one suffering. Climate change is something which is very multidimensional. It's related to your health, it is related to your social setting, it's related to your economics, and all in all, it makes you very vulnerable. So no matter how much money you owe, climate change, the impact of climate change is gonna affect you. Of course, since you since you have resources, you can protect yourself better. But what about the marginalized section? They are the ones who are suffering the most. In Delhi, if you see the AQI in winter, it reaches more than 500. And the people who live in slum area, they don't have any resources. They can't even go to hospitals. When they go to hospitals, uh, they don't know whom to talk. They are suffering from bronchitis, but the doctor is not writing on the prescription that it is happening due to air pollution. So we have law, we have everything. It's just that we are not doing some substantial. There is no awareness. People are not talking about AQI. People are just thinking it's something, or like in the philosophy debate,
Uh,
they say that it's left liberated uh,
so,
controversy, and they're
yeah,
trying to digress us from economic development. See, India is a very complicated country. So I would not say that there is one problem. Okay, environment is a problem, I'm working on it, but then environment is also something which is associated with lot of social stratification. So I would say caste is one of the major problems. Gender discrimination is also one of the major problems, and everything comes down to the fact that your environment also affects you. It makes you more vulnerable. So there are many problems in India. Poverty is one of the one of the impediments in social justice. But yes, of course, we are progressing in many of the dimensions. We are making progress, but still, these are the problems that we need to address.
I see. So, poverty is so wide and, it's so big population. I think you cannot done in within a days or a few days. It's mean big uh, economic development in order to solve
Yeah.
that is big issue. Still there is caste system in India, and I don't know because geopolitically or social politically, because your current politics is Hindu twelve or Hindu nationalism in India, but the concept of Hindu is you have to have a caste system in Hindu system. So
Um,
yeah, uh, as long as you keep Hindu nationalism, the caste system not go away. Isn't that or is isn't go related or it is
No.
it's not di cannot divided the caste system and Hinduism.
Actually, Hinduism is a very broad term because anciently, if you see, um, the scriptures, particularly the Vedas and the Upanishads, they don't talk about caste system as we experience it today. They do talk about the Varnas, but the Varnas were based on the division of society on the basis of what? Like the Plato's idea of division of society. The caste system that we experience today, it is more of a degenerated form of that mention. Okay, so they do find like in our scriptures it is written, but that is the misinterpretations of Vedas and Upanishads, I would say. And as far as the Hinduism is concerned, and if you read the Indian philosophy, all do they talk about is equality everywhere. If you see the dharma, if it's about that how to nurture the society that are at the margin. So to say that Hinduism is proliferating the caste system in India, I think I would not agree with that. It's just that people are not aware of what the scriptures are truly saying, and they are just doing the superficial reading, and then they are, still caught up with the lot of prejudices in their mindset. Um, um, and beyond that, Hindu nationalism, as far as concerned, of course, there is this thing of hyper nationalism, but that is related to the political domain of it because they want certain kind of polarization in the society so that they can reap some sort of political benefits out of it. If you study the society per se, that polarization do exist, but in certain areas, in certain cluster, I would say. Egalitarianism is the virtue which Hinduism promotes. So, and Hindutva is rather than a religion, it's a philosophy, it's a way of life. So, I think I would not agree with your assertion of making a connect between Hinduism and the caste system.
I see. So you said you refuse the coalition, the combination between Hindu nationalism and caste system. So you refuse it. You said Hindu philosophy is all equality and all uh, I mean, you said good things about Hindu nationalism. So
Mm.
when in terms of historically the caste system in India, so when it was started and how it was started, caste system, and if it
Um,
is equal, current Hindu nationalism, the leader, politicians, or all these Hindu nationalist leader, why don't they may disappear those caste system and make them all one society, equal society. So do you have idea?
so yeah, because see, historically, if you see, it happens in every society. Those who are in a dominant position, they tends to dominate the vulnerable. So it is like if you see the Marxist interpretation, the bourgeois were dominating the proletariat. Similarly, in India also, those who are the dominants, the Brahmins, they are like, okay, we get certain kind of privileges, and now we are gonna use those privileges as a political tool to oppress the other society who are at the margins. Okay, that's how it started. I feel that that the division between the society in terms of oppression and oppressed always exist. As far as the why don't the politicians work towards it? Um, During independence, at the time of independence, some of the politicians did make a lot of efforts, like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was the one who, who is being credited to draft the Constitution of India, and he bring out a lot of laws that are unfavorable. Like we have reservations for or affirmative action policies for Dalits in India and certain other things, certain other communities, which is like divided into scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes, and now there is this EWS, which is economically weaker section. As far as why the politician doesn't have the will today to sort of get rid of caste system, I believe because it works in their favor. So if you want to consolidate the voters pool of one particular community, all you need to do is to sort of, bring that seed of fragmentation into the society so that you can polarize one community against another. They have been doing that, and it is being favoring them in terms of voters turnout. The I mean, not I'm not I don't want to name any political parties, but most of the political party has been doing this in India since ages, and now also they want to continue it. Uh, because they will not lost the plot. How do they get votes in election until they come up with these ideas of using caste as a political tool or religion as a political tool? So this is why they do not have the capacity, I would say. They don't want to envision beyond that. They want to see their own benefit. And uh, a fragmented society is always better to suit the political interests of the parliamentarians. I mean, I don't know if I should say it or not, but yeah, this is what it is.
Reality in that way of those
Yeah, of course. I
of
do agree.
politics. And as you said, it is it's the solution is not come out by any group, politician or
Mhm.
any leaders or anybody in that
Um,
circumstances. So it seems the caste system will be keep going on in India.
I think I want to be a optimist in that direction because people are educated now. People understand politics now. Of course, there was a time when people don't want to even see the faces of a Dalit person, or they used to be called untouchable, and they were like, okay, even if you come closer to me, I'll be polluted. And now we have come so far. We are doing intercaste marriages, interreligious marriages. So I am hopeful that one day, even in some parts of India, the caste system which is there, it's gonna disappear, and education, of course, is very important for that. People need to be taught about the ideas of equality, about the ideas of liberty, social values, respect, tolerance, acceptance. So these are the values that we need to inculcate in our students so that they can, move forward. And the government has been doing that. It's not that they are completely redundant about that. Social campaigns are running, NGOs are working towards it. So a lot has come down. The extent of it has come down. Of course, it does exist, but maybe in future I want to be hopeful that one day we'll get rid of the whole idea of caste system and the caste identity.
I see. So as you point out, interesting, the maybe in previous time there was a caste system and those the lead are untouchable, no touching. So no touching
Yes.
at the time, the social system or is legalized those no touching by
Um,
if the lead touch to the higher class or other class is they are legalized any punishment in legal system or it just social system do you have idea?
um, See, politically, if you see, right after the independence, when we have enacted the Constitution of India, we bring out a lot of political reforms. Okay, for the first time, right to equality was given to everyone. That those who are the citizens of India, they should be treated equally. So, and in order to uplift, like I mentioned before, in order to uplift their status, we also came up with the idea of affirmative action, that is to provide them education, to reserve some sort of seats for Dalits and for the tribal community in India. So politically, of course, I would say the laws are very progressive, but society, on the other hand, they are a bit conservative and a bit I would say conservative, not traditionalist, but a bit conservative when it comes to the whole stigma of caste system is concerned. And it's been like years after 1950s that we have come up so far away, and things are changing now. We can see the transformation, particularly after globalization. Now people have traveled abroad. Now people know what the ideas of equality looks like, what is multiculturalism, what is the meaning of democracy, the meaning of a pluralistic society, which should be the essence of India, because you see there is so much of heterogeneity in India, not only in terms of caste, in terms of region, in terms of language, in terms of religion. So India is a very pluralistic society, and to keep everything together, integrated, it is a big task. So politically, of course, there is no legalization of caste system or any sort of discrimination in the society. But socially, some of the social conventions are still, holding us back from the political empowerment.
I see. It was used to be before independence, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
So they
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah. It
not
was a
allowed.
really big problem.
They are not
If you see
allowed
some of the,
the
yeah,
lead let them touch you or let them touch
yeah,
any higher
yeah.
features.
Yes, yes. It was like that. You can't even see them. They have to be they live in a separate community. They live outskirts, peripheral areas of the society. They were not allowed to fetch water from the well. Lot of these, I would say, discriminatory practices were going on back in those days. I mean, I wouldn't say that it doesn't go now in some of the places. Yes, it is still there, but then if you see the cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kolkata, um, I don't think you'll witness it that much. And globalization has played a part in it.
I see. In case of the lead touch you or touch uh, like that any other people, what social punishment or what's social reaction to them? They kill them, the lead people, or they beat them, or how did society reaction at that time?
The society reaction was really terrible. I mean, of course, some you will hear instances where if a Dalit person comes into the upper caste community, um, then they will be beaten to death. These not sort of sanctified sort of punishment, but they will do whatever they want to do. It depends on their whims and wishes.
I see. What the legal system pollution at the time, maybe before independence, there was a local legal system or any legal system, you know. So
So,
there is justice for them, those who die by being by upper class.
Um, before independence, it's very difficult. I wouldn't even think that, some of these people are even allowed to get justice, because their voices were repressed and depressed. Nobody was there to listen to them. Um, the legal system was, of course, dominated by the British law, and even though, of, I mean, they can approach the courts, but then they don't have the education and resources to go. They don't have they never had the awareness
They cannot
where to go.
access. They
Yeah,
cannot
they
access the
accepted
court.
they just accepted their fate, and it's like, this is how it happens. That becomes a norm in the society. So they never challenged it unless and until people like Ambedkar, Jyotirao Phule, they came in front and started a whole movement against caste system. So, and during the national movement, that people are like, oh, we can also participate um, in a sort of revolution against caste system or against the British law or against colonialism or against gender oppression. So before that, these ideas were really far-fetched.
I see. So before independence, particularly once the lead were uh, death, after after death, I mean, even any beaten or death or any injustice action, but the lead has no opportunity to access court or
Hazard, yeah.
any legal system or any the authority for justice.
Mm.
So
Mm.
then they don't have opportunity to assess anything. And then
Yes.
the society is just looking at them and nobody speak for them and nobody helping them. They just watch them and they just stand beside them and doing nothing, turn blind eye to the society at the time.
Yes, yes.
So,
Actually, that was
so
like
the
the cultural
society is
norm. That was the normalized version of
right.
society. That
That was the society norm in India upon the lead minority, the behavior of Indian society at that time. So after independence, how that is improving, or that was improved, or that was changed a bit society norm and the society behavior in India.
So it was very much understood that to change the society is very difficult. So the only way we can do is by creating changes in our political law, legal law. So the political laws take a precedence when it comes to transformation in the society. The first thing that was done by the Indian government at that point of time is to create a constitution which is based on the idea of equality, liberty, and fraternity. These people, for the first time, were given the rights to equality, right to vote, right to property, all the fundamental rights. They were being told that you are as equal as any other Brahmins in the community, any other Kshatriyas in the community. So political law took precedence. Then comes the economic law, the social and economic law. Then comes the educational and the awareness camps, the NGOs, and everything on the ground level, the civil society organization, the mass movements. There were Mahar movements. I mean, Dr. Ambedkar has organized a whole rally, and all the Dalits just on his um, on the pretext that he is converting to Buddhism. A lot of Mahars in Maharashtra, they also converted to Buddhism. So it was that created a political movement across nation. There were many social reformers, at that point of time, who were really passionate about creating India as an egalitarian society, and that took a toll, of course. At least politically, they were given the rights. They can form political association, political parties, and in 1960s or 80s was the transforming period where, for the first time, a Dalit political party was created, and they even vote. They even secure seats in parliament. So that was the transitioning period. A lot has been going through during that upheavals, and all the momentums were changing, the dynamics of the society were shifting. They were People were being told that you can't just come and sort of use derogatory terms against Dalits. I mean, otherwise, till now, I mean, it's a reality that the Dalits community in North Indian are um, called by certain names, which is chamar and all that. I don't know if you would understand that, but it is still a reality. But now people are being told that, if you call somebody by these offensive names, then you will be punished. So that's how it was. Like politics did created a sort of environment to social transformation or social empowerment of Dalits in India.
Right, right. So it's changed a lot or improved after independence.
Hmm.
You said a lot of
Yeah.
social transformation, access the core or justice system,
Yeah, the seats were reserved for them in university for
right?
employment.
Any Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha seat, they
Yes, yes, yes.
seat in there, and
Yeah,
they can access a lot of other social justice, and a lot of
yeah.
NGO are willing to speak for them. they are
Yeah,
willing to help for them at this time,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
And up to date, it's improved a lot. And in case of if any lead guy, if they touch you, this time, what's your response? You will have any reaction now?
No, no, no. I don't think, but I mean, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, we have moved from touching or untouchability to sort of having acceptance in the society of inter-caste marriages. I mean, still, if you see the marriage patterns in India, people are very strict when it comes to marrying in the same community and marrying in the same caste. But then society has loosened up a bit.
So
So
it means
that's a positive reference when it comes to the whole debate of caste system. I mean, Mr. Gandhi said so long there's not gonna be intercaste marriages and intermixing dining. The society will be deprived of a lot of things. So following that, if you see that now the numbers are raising, I mean, of course, still people are hung up to their own caste and their own community, but I mean, I'm a positivist person, so I want to be hopeful about the whole
right,
debate. And
right,
if you come to cities like Delhi, you won't see, I mean, nobody will ask you your caste when they're sitting next to you in the bus, or
right.
nobody's gonna ask you your caste when you're eating with them or something like that. So things have changed a lot
I see.
from
So
that.
you
Still,
have
we need to improve.
I see. So you said you are very much positive, and so you are not any reaction, or you will not refuse if any Dalit touching you, skin
Yeah,
touching
not at
or
all, not
anything.
at all, not at all,
So
not
it's
at all.
unlike before, because before
Yeah,
they don't allow touching, or uh,
yeah.
or they even kill them or
Hmm.
beat them. So that was the case in India before time. But you said you are accept to touch by the lead. Nowadays, there is no discrimination, all are equal. So touching is
Yeah.
a problem, right?
Yeah, gender is one of the big impediment. Not gender in terms of women working in a cosmopolitan society and going to corporates and all. I'm talking about gender problem in the rural India. So, I mean, still they have a lot of stigmas that you are not supposed to go out after a certain point of time. You are allowed to have education, but then you're allowed to have education so that you can become a good wife, you know. So these are the kind of things that still exist. So that's another area where we need to work on.
I
Um,
see. So I mean,
yeah.
you have a woman president,
Yes, yes.
president.
And she
So
comes from a
I
tribe.
mean, that's made gender equality just putting women a president. You mean you need something more? You need a lot of thing more in India society.
And so, I mean, of course, we do have a women president, and that's something which all of us are very proud of. But then, if you see the number of women in parliament, you can literally make it out it's not a gender equal society. I mean, the number of women is really less.
I see.
Um, yeah, the
In
48% of the population, they are not getting the equal representation.
especially in which area, apart from
I think,
parliament,
yeah,
other sector.
I think in every sector, if you see the number of women is lesser than the number of men. So, parliament is politics is traditionally supposed to be a men's domain. So it's the epitome of where policymakers are making policies for the women, but the policymakers are actually men. I don't know how greatly and how deeply do they even understand the concern of a women in the society. Yeah, and then, of course, there is this division of class, which also plays a role because my need as a woman would be different than somebody who is in a rural society. And I don't know how much justice they can do to that.
I
And
mean,
then there is social.
I don't
social
know.
stigmas associated with a lot of things that are gender related.
When it comes to women issue, is complicated, and I
Yeah, it's very
think
complicated. I was just about to say that because India is in transition phase. The society is moving towards upward mobility. So you will find a lot of women who are going out, earning well, and they are being accepted as a salaried person. On the other hand, of course, there exists in India where the destiny of a woman is limited to the idea of marriage, where they are not they were given preliminary education so that they can, like I said, become a good wife and run the household perfectly. So only till class 12 they are given the education or up to the university degree because Indians are obsessed with degrees. But beyond that, when it comes to um, thinking of the idea of women having a dream is can be a bit sort of a revolutionary ideas to many societies, even in Delhi, if you see the lower middle. No, I mean, I don't think it's related to class though, but there are many families where you can work, but then you have to get married by certain age. You'll be 25, then now it's time for you to get married, and it is still the idea of a good woman is um to be a housewife, to look after the children, and these kind of norms still exist. Yet, many women they are doing so well in their careers. They are joining politics. They are joining sports. They are joining filmmaking, being an actress, being a model, being a singer. So I would say that both kind of worlds exist in India.
let's see. So I mean, in terms of gender issue, those the gap in those developed countries and Western countries, I mean, the gap is narrow.
Yeah, of course, if you compare India with the Western countries, of course, the gap is huge. I mean, um, even though we do accept now that women can go out and she can have fun and she can earn for herself, she can be a breadwinner of the family. That norm exists in this society. But if you compare it with the Western world, of course, the gap is huge. We have to work a lot more in the direction of women emancipation and women empowerment. And it starts with education, providing them education, not only education of training them of being literate, but to sort of change their worldview, to recognize what are the impediments, to internalize the idea of discrimination, sorry, to internalize the idea of empowerment so that they can move away from discrimination, they can realize their own worth. So,
See,
yeah, of course, we have to work. Yeah.
so as you said, gender issue is big gap. Women freedom in India, the society allow very little or very limited compared to those
Yeah, the Western
countries.
world.
And how about legal system? Is itself is restricted, more restricted than those developed,
Not at all.
or
Not at all.
the society is the main issue.
We,
Legal issue is the main problem, or the society is the main problem. What is the problem?
uh, you know what? We have the best law in the world. So, I would give you an example that in many of the European countries, women had to run movements to sort of get the suffrage right so that they can vote in elections. On the other hand, India, when they got independent, all the women of India were given the right to vote. They don't need to struggle for that. So when it comes to political law and the legality, we have the best of the laws. And even there is this debate which is going on now that the law favors women more than men. So law is not the problem; it's the society which is the problem.
I see. So in India case, you found out legal system is not that problem, but it's
Yeah.
more about society is more problem.
Society. Yeah. The traditions and the
The
customs and the
social
yeah.
issue, the society, the behavior of the society is more problematic. So that's the thing.